Well, hi everyone, my name is Colin Steed and I work from my small studio here in Essex in the UK. Now when I go out demonstrating, teaching, a lot of students ask me, what brushes do you recommend and why? Well, the main thing with brushes, you get what you pay for. And I've got 3 brushes here that I recommend, and I actually painted this picture with them. So let me show you why I recommend them and why quality is so important when you come to using brushes. I particularly like them for picking around chimneys and areas that, instead of using masking fluid, I prefer to pick around edges with dark colour, allowing the light colour to reveal itself. And that's what I'm doing here with the chimneys. I'm picking around the chimney pots and the chimney stack, the roof line, and you can do that with these brushes as they point well, and the brushes, the actual hairs, are particularly stable, so you can point, you can pick around and be pretty successful, really. Ideal for that sort of, you wouldn't get that with a cheaper brush. And of course you can not only use the brush for forming trees, you can form the tops of lighter trees by using the point of the brush and painting down. So the shape you leave is the shape of the tree that's standing up. Now there's a tree here that sort of slopes down like that, but it's very spiky on the edge. So what I'm doing, I'm just painting back in, leaving the spiky edges standing up. And of course you can do that with these brushes. You're in full control of the paint flow and the point, which is always something that I look for in a brush, really. Now, if you're looking to produce texture, well, these are the brushes. You just remove most of the real wet from the brush, load it with colour, and I'm using a different technique here. I'm using the side of the brush and I'm just scratching across the surface. See the way I'm creating a different image of trees, a different top to these trees. So you can vary the way you use these brushes. These ProArt Renaissance sable brushes are the ideal purchase, really, for someone that's looking for a small number of brushes but good quality brushes. And of course, they also produce lovely fir trees. If you're looking for sort of a conifer sort of fir tree, particularly if you're painting a woodland scene, and you can pick up the point of the tree, as simple as that. Another area in this painting is the soldier stones that stand up along the top of the bridge, and you can pick up the roughness of those, the rough edging, easily with these brushes. There again, something that would not be as easy to produce with a cheaper brush. You get a lovely rough edge along the top of that bridge. Spiky grasses, or the impression of grasses, very easy to produce with this brush, or all of these brushes really, just depends what size you want to use. You can see here now at the start of this painting the advantage really of these type of brushes. You get lovely edges for the tops of the trees, spiky edges when you're painting back, and also you can also create a variety of shapes, and when you come down to the bank area you can also paint in the illusion of grasses. So that's all done with that one brush. And even the foreground spiky grasses on the bank, always easy to do with this brush. I particularly like these brushes when we're looking to depict overhanging trees or their branches, and it really is the brush that does the work for you really. It's quite dense, but I'm opening this part up and I'm just trying to get the illusion of, see the way the point dapples across the paper. The harder you push, the larger the mark. The less you push, the more narrow the mark, smaller. So you can produce as much or as little as you wish. Vary the colour. That gives you a slightly different feel. And of course, what will give you a different feel is the actual amount of paint you have on these brushes. And once mastered, as you can see, you begin to get the feel and the way branches overhang in these lovely trees. And that's why I love using this type of brush. You can't beat quality. Small numbers, best quality. That's what I say about materials. And of course they come into their own when you look to paint branches that support those leaf areas. Push hard and you get a wide line. Lift off and you get a more narrow line. Like painting this bridge. To get the feel of grasses, I just paint down and lift off using the point of the brush. And you can vary the shape of that, vary the angle, but altogether a super way of producing grasses on a river bank. Now I'm going to use this well-loaded ProArt number 2 series 45 Sablesque brush for those final sort of shadow areas, perfect for these broader washes. And I'm going to have a tree shadow running across the foreground there, so we're more or less imagining a tree that's running. Could be a building, but let's call it a tree. See the way you can, the colour just, and you can use the point too of this mop brush. You can also pick around the building shape too with the point of that brush. Now for the small finishing touches, I'm going to use the number 4 brush, and that is ideal just for these last, well, fine details. Of course, if you're painting flowers, you may need it earlier in the painting, but overall I use them more near the end for landscapes, and I find that works pretty well for me, because they point, do all those little finishing edges that make all the difference to the final painting. I would highly recommend these series of brushes by Pro Art.